world is on a precipice of a major shift. The monetary reset has begun, and we need to get ready. This program aims to inform you on how the monetary system works, how it has been used to rob you of your wealth. I will take you on a journey of discovering what has happened until now, what events are shaping how we will live our lives, and how you can prepare yourself for the biggest wealth transfer in history. Over the last few years, I've been watching the global stock markets and watching the bubbles inflate. For example, housing prices skyrocketed over the last 10 years, meaning that a 1 million rand home in 2008 can now be bought or sold for 2 million rand. Has this house become more expensive, or has it just cost more money to buy it? It's called inflation. The house didn't decide it wanted to value itself by more, did it? Stock markets have risen to all-time highs, and when you looked at the valuations in some cases, they were valued at 25 times their net profit. How could this be? Did these businesses generate 25 times more products and services? From my research, they use leverage in the form of debt. Businesses were using debt to buy back their shares. If you watch Bloomberg or conduct your own research, you will find that the biggest contributor to stock market growth over the last 10 years has been through share buybacks. They did this because in Europe and the US, the interest rates are almost at zero. What this means is that if you take the amount of shares in issue divided by the net profit, giving share prices the push to skyrocket. Bearing in mind that the payment on the principal debt is still due. If this business keeps trading, then it keeps making the debt payments every month. But now with supply chains closed due to COVID-19, the payments to the borrowers are still due, but without income, the ability to pay is drastically reduced, meaning that these corporates have to ask to be bailed out, whilst also having to sell shares to get liquid, to make good on their obligations. Kind of like taking a credit card, spending it all on consumer goods, then losing your job, not being able to pay your credit card, then asking the bank for a loan to help you feed yourself and pay off your credit card. And when that's up, asking for another loan or a bailout to pay the first and second loan, and so on. Sounds crazy, right? Secondly, the banks are not receiving their payments, having to ask the governments for a bailout to help them stay afloat in order to give their debtors more loans so they can make good on their first loans, where the banks were giving these credit cards out recklessly, like candy. Thirdly, the governments need money to make this happen, so they approach the IMF or World Bank to ask for loans to give to the banks and to fund their own projects. This is done by issuing bonds, which means that we the taxpayers are the means by which they pay back the IMF or World Bank. And if they can't make these payments, which could prove difficult with people losing their jobs and businesses shutting down, then the World Bank seizes the country's water, power generation, mining, ports, land, etc. as collateral, while still collecting future taxation levied on us. So far, South Africa has a national debt of over 4 trillion rand, with interest of 216 billion rand annually, over and above the initial principal monthly or annual payment. In the USA, they have national debt of $24 trillion and have just increased that by an additional $6 trillion, with a GDP of $21 trillion. Governments around the world are now being forced to take out loans to try and stop their economies from failing, meaning more debt and more control to the issuers of the loan. Small businesses that were operating month to month are now not trading, being forced with two choices: shut down or take the gift of a loan to stay open, to pay salaries to owners and employees without producing anything, and then probably having to take on more debt when the lockdown is lifted just to start trading. continuing their new existence with a noose of debt around their necks, which didn't exist prior to the lockdown. The new world is going to be interesting and challenging. What will it look like, I wonder? Subscribe to my channel, like, and share this video. Thank you.